So welcome all to this data science introduction. This meant to be a very overall idea of what data science is and what do we use it for. I know that we have a lot of buzzwords nowadays and it can get a bit confusing. Maybe some of you are feeling that maybe you should jump on the tech wall. So this is a perfect webinar for you. So we will be able to go through all the basic stuff, and then we will be able to test. I will like you to all to try a program that we will just practice at the end of it, and then we will have a lot of Q&A time for you to ask away anything you might feel, yes? All right, so let's just start. I feel we have a good amount of people, so yeah, let's just start and go ahead. So let me introduce you a little bit about CodeUp. Yeah, this is a webinar that we're doing from CodeUp. It was founded in 2018, and it was mainly founded to help and solve the gender disparity that we have in the tech space. As you might know, most of you, the tech world, it's a very male-dominated space. And so this was the first international tech school that was primarily focused on teaching women, transgender, non-binary individuals who want to either transition to tech or even upskill their just whatever they need to be able to get that better job or that fulfilled. And then about myself, basically, my name is Pilar. I'm from Spain. I work at the UFMD as a division within the FAO, which is part of the UN, and I'm a technical solutions and a data analyst. And basically, I've been working there for about 2 years now. And that was after I finished my CodeUp bootcamp back in April 2 years ago. Yep. So I would like to be very interactive, as I said. So if you could just type in slido.com on another web page on a browser, and then just put the code CodeUp1, you will be able to interact and write down things that we will see on the screen. Yes? So if you could join there, please. It's just very simple. Just put slido.com and then just put the code CodeUp1, and then you will be able to answer the questions that we put on. Yeah. Again, if you have any problems, let me know in the chat. So far, looks like you guys are doing well. So the first question that we're gonna do is, where are you joining us from? I already put mine. I come from Spain. So if you guys can type in, oh, I see 5 people already typing in. Amsterdam, Canada, Colombia. Okay, this is getting international. Norway, Berlin, USA, France. Some of you will have like a crazy hours. I guess it will be early morning or very late. UK, Zurich. Awesome. You guys are from all over. Okay. Germany, okay. You're from USA, nice. I see that you all will been able to do join the Slido, perfect. New York, South Africa. I was just there in November, actually. India, okay. Awesome, excellent. All right, let me now ask you what brings you to this session. So you could type whatever you want, a little sentence. I want to be in tech. I want to know what all this is about. I'm just curious. Just type away. So I get a feeling, I get a sense of what you guys are here for. Yeah. Okay, curious. All right. As you see, we're gonna get like a little cloud happening. I want to work as a data analyst. Okay, oh, you're starting the bootcamp in January. More curious people. You're a web developer already, okay. Okay, yeah, is it this for me? Good, yes. Learning purpose, learn more. I like Excel already. And you're curious about tech, especially backend. Interesting. Awesome. Thank you guys for letting me know. No, okay, backend. Okay, so I see you see the curious is bigger because more people are typing in curious, so it's interesting. Okay. Great. So I'll let you know why I'm here. I'm just doing this webinar for them just as a way of me giving back to Codop, since they're the ones who helped me to change my life, like I completely turn around. I was on a 9-to-5 job, very bored, very disheartened about my career. I felt like I had no purpose in life almost. And I had to commute to my work. I had to wear clothes that, suits and proper clothing, because I used to work at the bank. And even though it was okay paid, I would think that my soul was like draining day by day. I was really extremely disappointed about how work and how career works, particularly here in Spain. In here, it's not about what you know, it's mostly about who you know. And it's also very male dominated everywhere. And it was just hard to get ahead and do anything. I also lived in Africa for about 8 years there. And over there, had a lot of fun. I was traveling a lot, working a lot of things. But when I came back to Spain, that's when I found out that actually having a career or a work that was going to be fulfilling was going to be very hard. So after 2 years of this 9-to-5 job, I decided I have to do something. So I Googled and I said, what can I do from home in a pajama that I can just, enjoy myself, have flexibility, take my computer, travel around the world if I want to, and just be free, a bit more free, and also get better paid, obviously. And so the thing that was coming from Google was programming, developer, all these kind of techy words that I didn't know anything about. And so I thought, okay, this sounds a bit scary, but I joined, I just researched a lot, joined a few webinars like this one, and looking at everything out in the tech, because within the tech world, there's loads of roles and different things, as you read on the screen, backend, data analyst, developer, there are a lot of different types of job, right? So then I thought, okay, I'm a numbers person, sort of, I like numbers, I like graphs and this type of thing. So they told me, okay, so a data analysis or the data science is what would work best for you. I say, okay, then let's do it. I did a boot camp back in April of 2 years ago. And before I finished the boot camp, I was already hired. And my life just changed, like imagine, no? From 9-to-5, boring and okay page, to living, whatever I want. The pay is great. The amount of freedom I have is absolutely amazing. I'm able to travel when I want. As long as I have my computer, then I'm free. I work from home. So that's exactly what I wanted, right? So this is why I'm here in this session. I want to give back to Codop because it's thanks to them that I did that bootcamp and that I got the job that I'm now where I am now. Yep. Okay, so what we're going to cover today, I know there's a lot of buzzwords. Some of you might already know what they mean, some of you not. So we're going to go through what big data is, AI, which is now the biggest buzzword or most searched word on the internet. What is machine learning versus deep learning versus data science? Try to have a little context and understand how everything fits in. And then we will obviously get into detail on what data science is, what impact it has, what skills are required, how would you do a data project, the steps that you need, how is the job market, and then we're going to look at real world projects so you can have an idea and see physically how they look and not just a theory up in the clouds. And then you will try to do some data analysis. We're going to do it with a free tool that's online. You don't need to download anything. It'll be just a web that you log in, and then you'll be able to kind of straight away do and test if data science is for you. And I think you will enjoy that part. Yep. So, okay, big data. What is big data? Yeah. So now imagine a company, for example, Apple. And now think about all the data that they produce, like the sales from the web, the inventory, the client base, the social media. And now let's think about governments and all the data that they hold. And now the Internet of Things, the Alexas, and how they collect data, the nows, the when, the who's. And the more you think about this, you can start imagining a lot of data that's been produced just from a single company, just from a single person. Even just a single person produces a lot of data. So big data refers to the massive amount of structured and unstructured data that is generated every single day. And this is growing like at an exponential rate, and in turn creates the need for more tools and more people like us that work and process this data, analyzes it, and get some sort of information. So data science, what means exactly is to extract insights and knowledge from all the data that we produce, whether it be a company, government, people, communities, etc. Yeah, so imagine the amount of data that we can have. Let's have some examples. For example, think about of a size of an image. That's about 15 MBs, okay? Now, if we think about the video that we're talking about, 1.5, that's much bigger than that. Or if we think about how a robot will collect data, for example, if we send it to Mars, collects airs and pressures and God knows, now we're talking about terabytes. Or a Walmart, that's 1 terabyte per day. That's a huge amount of data that is being produced constantly every second. We're gonna play a little game here. Look at these things that you see around, this black circle, yes? And look at the examples. For example, let's read one, 320 new Twitter accounts, or 100 plus new LinkedIn accounts. Let's see another one, 50 plus WordPress downloads. That's a place to do websites. 70 plus domains registered. 600 new videos on YouTube. So now I want you to think, how often do you think this happens? Is it a day? Is it an hour? Is it minutes? Is it a week? And I want you to put it on the chat. Let me put it on the chat. What do you think? Is it an hour, a day? How many minutes? A week? An hour? Okay, Carla thinks all of this happens within an hour. All of these are the same time, huh? Let's see who else thinks of any other time. 1 minute. Okay. Seconds, 1 minute, within minutes. Yeah, you actually are right. It is in 60 seconds. That's crazy, isn't it? It's pretty clear that big data is actually huge data. It's massive amount of data. And now this data is the new gold because companies use this data to make informed decisions and make more money or create solutions that are needed out there. Yep. So let's talk about all these buzzwords we said. So all these artificial intelligence like AI, this ChatGPT that everyone knows by now, and what does it mean and what form and how does it feel? So computer science or information technology, it embraces a lot, right? It's not just one thing. It's everything to do with computer and information technology. So AI that is now everywhere and as a huge trend, as you've probably seen, yeah. And you think maybe it's something new that we just recently discovered or used, and it's not. It started long ago in the 50s, and AI only refers to techniques allowing computers to copy human behavior. So for example, a robot that mimics a human walk, it's AI. A Roomba that hoovers the room and allows you to just relax on the sofa, it's also AI, right? And a self-drive car, or those new Teslas, is also AI, yeah? So they're just techniques allowing computers to copy our behavior. That's what artificial intelligence is. So within that umbrella, and as I said, you can see on the timeline down there, that started in the 1950s, that's where we have machine learning. And that refers to techniques that allow computers to learn and solve a specific task, not to copy or mimic our human behaviors, but more to learn. So it learns from the inputs that you provide it with, and then it can give you a solution. That's what machine learning is. And within machine learning, that's where we have the deep learning. So that will be a subset of machine learnings and that are used, connected as a neural network. And they learn in a way that we would never be able to, because it's like, imagine like having lots of brains, very powerful geniuses brains connected to each other. Yep. So for example, if I feed the machine learning model and I give him housing price data for the last 50 years, and another bunch of economic factors for the same area. Maybe like something that could be correlated, like the size, the neighborhood, or the weather of the area, or if it's a touristic area or not, and so forth. So the computer will search for patterns, and then it will then detect if a specific thing it's correlated or not. For example, if interest rates go low, the price of the houses rises. So by observing the present interest rate, then it will be able to predict for you what is the price of this house. Or by adding all these other elements, then it will be able to predict a price in the future. Okay, so let's go. I hope this is, I know it's a lot of buzzwords, but it's just for you to understand how they fit within the context of the computer science. So if you see the whole, as we put it, the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, and the deep learning, so big data just exists, it's just there, right? And then data science uses big data as input and uses the techniques that are there, either AI, machine learning, deep learning, to get insights. That's, in a nutshell, what data science is. How do they relate between all of them? And how does this data that so imagine, maybe let's talk about a real example that will make sense. Imagine the Tesla car that we talked about before, that it drives itself. So big data is the autonomous vehicle that generates the data, right? Like from the sensors, from the cameras, from the GPS. Thus, it collects a huge amount of data. The data science analyzes all this data that we've been collecting, and it makes sense of the surroundings, identify the pedestrians or the other vehicles or the road conditions, or there's a traffic light, or if it needs to accelerate, if it needs to brake, if it needs to change lanes. Now, the deep learning algorithms within the vehicle systems, that's when recognize complex objects, like more like signals or things that appear out of nowhere. And then the AI, which is what the part that imitates the human behavior, will then navigate and drive accordingly, either brake, accelerate, and so forth. So that's how they all relate to each other on an example on a day-to-day basis. So data science, okay, now that we understand the bigger picture, let's dig a bit deeper into it. The data science is a multidisciplinary field that combines mathematical and statistical techniques, programming skills, and domain expertise to extract valuable insights from data. So it adopts a systematic approach that encompasses the problem formulation, the data acquisition, the data preparation, the modeling, the evaluation, the communication, and then it allows scientists to extract those insights that we need to make informed decisions. So it's not just about numbers and statistics, it's about gaining insights, finding patterns in the data, yeah, and allowing to make the decisions. That's what encompasses the whole of the data science. Of course, you can look at these and be like, oh my God, there's no way I can learn all of this in maybe a boot camp or in a short amount of period. But the thing is, you don't need to really go deeply into them. You could spend years just doing statistics, right? But to be able to do data science, the computer does most of this work anyway. So as long as you understand the concepts, how they relate to each other, then it is possible. So step by step, you just learn just enough to be able to work in the field and to have the tools to then maybe learn more. And then maybe even what happens normally is when someone starts working, then they realize that they're actually really interested in this part. And then they can further go deeper into this particular area and learn more, right? Boot camps normally are about 6 months or so, 6-8 months if they are like part-time. So of course there is a lot that it's thrown to you, but like I said, it's step by step. You acquire the knowledge slowly but slowly. You're not going to be an expert on statistics unless you've studied them before, but you grasp at least the basics that you need to be able to use data science within a company or a project kind of situation. What skills do I need to be a data scientist? All right, so we need to first differentiate between hard skills and soft skills. So the hard skills refers to the specific skills that you need for the job. And then the soft skills are the ones that we maybe already have naturally. And those are related to things like interacting with other people. For example, these are the hard skills that are used a lot today. As you see, the bigger, this is the word cloud. So the bigger you see the word, it's the more that is used. And the smaller means the less that is used or therefore. So as you see, Python is quite big there. RStudio, that's a different language. Power BI, which comes from Excel. SQL is another language. Tableau, which is a program to be able to visualize data. And then all the smaller ones are packets or packages that we use within the programming world, like Python or these other languages like RStudio. Yeah. Normally in these boot camps, they will teach maybe normally Python mostly, and always SQL, because to be able to work with big data, you must know SQL. That's why SQL is quite big up there. But between R and Python, there are differences. It's a language that is quite similar. It's like saying Spanish and Italian. They have similarities, but they have little nuances that are like a little bit different. I would say Python is more used now, more and more, just because people are creating more open packages and it's open source. So people are creating more and more ways of using it. You can even do now games with Python. And R is more used in the scientific world, particularly like in medicine or veterinary world and so forth. Yeah. Okay, let's see what the soft skills are. So these are the things you already might have and that you already know, like team spirit, empathy, assertiveness, self-promotion, confidence, negotiation, collaboration, coaching, and so forth. Yeah. So let's do another question and see what you guys think. What soft skills you think are most needed? So you can go back to the page of Slido, keep it open throughout the webinar, and rank them or just place and see what you think it's needed. What you think will be most needed in a data scientist or data analyst context job. Yeah. Let's see where we go. Okay, you guys are ranking. Okay. I see Alina, Alexa, you raise your hand. Let me see if I can unmute you. If I find, where are you? You can speak now if you want, or if you just raised it by mistake, no problem.
Hi. Yes,
Hi,
I wanted to ask how to access this.
Oh, the Slido? Sure, maybe you
yeah.
came in a bit late, no problem. So if you just open a browser and put slido.com, and then they'll ask you for the code, just put code up 1. Then you'll be able to also rank, and every time we use this slide, then you can interact with them, okay?
Okay, sorry, yes, I
No
was
problem.
late. Thank you.
That's fine. No problem at all. Okay. So far we've got teamwork seems to be up there, okay? So most of you might think that a data scientist involves working in a team. Okay, oh, now it's going down. We've got problem solving, eye for detail, and communication. Okay, patience is gone out already. Nobody thinks patience is needed. I would rate patience very highly, but okay, good. So you're mostly right. I can't say which one is the most important because I feel you need them more, at least a little bit, any of each, right? So teamwork, yeah. For example, I don't have any other data scientists in my division. Basically, are non-tech people, and I'm just on my own doing everything that's related to data analysis. So the teamwork, it's maybe not so important to me, but it's very important in teams where there are 3, 4 data analysts or the data engineer, and you have the developer, and then you all work within a team. So it's very important. Problem solving is a must. Eye for detail is a must, because when you program the codes, if you miss a comma, nothing works, or a dot, or even a non-cap, if you put a just a little letter that's not correct, it will not work. Communication, for me, it's the most important one in my particular situation, because my workplace, they're non-tech people, they don't program, and therefore they don't understand what I do. And they work with animal health, like mostly they're veterinarians, and I have no clue. So I don't understand them, they don't understand me. So it's like we need to kind of translate to each other. They need to translate to me what they need in terms of analyzing the data or predicting. And I need to translate to them what I need from them to be able to do so. But good job, you guys put in, well, teamwork collaboration is the same, so yeah, good. All righty, so let's see how it's actually applied. How do we apply data science? Any more hands raised? No, oh, okay. So let's talk about the applications and the impact, most anything. So data science has had a significant impact on various industries, including the healthcare, the finance, marketing. For example, in healthcare, data science it's very important to analyze the patient data and develop personalized treatment plans. And it has also led to improve patient outcomes and reduce health costs. In finance, data science is being used to detect fraud, for example, predict market trends, and develop investment strategies. And this obviously has led to efficient financial systems and increased profits for particular business. Then in marketing, we have data science used for analyze customer data and develop targeted campaigns. You know, when we are in social media and you get all this, like, sometimes I'm amazed. Maybe I'm talking to my friend about Turkey, and then all of a sudden I have all these ads, about Turkey, flights to Turkey. And I'm like, are they listening through the phone? They're not really listening, but I hope. But they are collecting the data that you on Google or social media, everywhere you are, they collect every single thing you do, analyze that, and that's how they are able to give you outcomes and things that they feel you will be more connected to those ads, right? What else do we have? For example, a study conducted by McKinsey & Company found that data-driven companies are 23 times more likely to acquire customers, 6 times more likely to retain those customers that they already have, and 19 times more likely to be profitable than companies that do not use data. So, like I said, this now is the new gold. I don't know any company that doesn't use some sort of analytics, whether it is employment analytics, whether it's sales analytics, whether it's advertisement analytics, everyone uses them. So that makes our job important and our market quite large. Yeah, all right, so let's go now to what is a data science or what a project entails on its. The first thing you're gonna see is a crossed red, big rubbish in, rubbish out. This is probably, you've heard it. If you haven't, it's the sentence when it comes to big data. If we have rubbish data, then we're gonna get rubbish outputs. Whether it is price data, sales data, marketing data, it doesn't matter. If what we have, it's not good, then we're not gonna get any insight. Or even worse, we might get results that are not real, which they're gonna make us make a decision maybe that it's wrong because we thought this or we thought, oh yeah, this was what's happening, and it was actually not. So it's very important that the data that we have, it's representative of what we are looking at, that it's collected in a consistent way, that it's cleaned in a proper way as well. So that's our job, yeah? And let's talk now through a project. So the first thing is to formulate the problem, because at the end of the day, as we said, data science is about getting an insight. So before we need the insight, we need to formulate the problem. So we need to define a clear and well-structured problem statement, and then it involves understanding the business, the context, identifying the objectives of what we need to find out, and then outlining what are the outcomes that we want, expecting from this project. Then we go into the data acquisition and the understanding. So in this step, data scientists normally we will collect the data, explore the relevant data sources, if you remember the frame that we had with the brand at the center and all the things around, like the CRM, the social media, and all these other places. So kind of understand, okay, I have this problem, where do I get the data from? So for example, if I have a problem that I feel my brand has a negative connotation, where would I understand why? So I think maybe looking at social media comments or social media interactions will give me that. So that's how I would know where to gather the data and understand it. And then we will have to obviously prepare the data, clean it, to make sure that we can analyze it and compare it. And it's essential that we do handle it. For example, if we have missing values or values that are not right, and like removing duplicates, transforming the data into suitable formats. So that's the job of preparing the data before we can actually do any exploration. And number 4, then, is when we can actually explore. Is for me, it's the most fun part. That's where we get to do the graphs. And graphs are there just to be able for us to see it with our eye. When you see a graph, you immediately understand what is happening. If you see a lot of numbers and a lot of text and you gotta read through it, a huge report, it doesn't really stick. But when you see a graph with colors, then you really see straight away, okay, this is the data that I have in front of me. Yep. Normally in this place, we will do the statistical techniques to summarize, visualize, and maybe some other exploratory techniques. And then this is where we will start seeing the patterns and the potential issues or the potential answers, let's call it, yeah? And a project that would be, for example, if we just want to know about how our clients are, with this would be enough, right? So we just raise the problem, get the data, clean it, prepare it, and then we'll explore it and visualize it. Done. Now we have already information. So a smaller project will stop here. It's a project where we'll just identify and visualize the data that we already have. But there are other steps to be done in if we want to go farther ahead, yeah? So in these steps, that's where data science, so the other part was more of a data analyst job, and this other part is more like a data scientist. So they're like a little bit different, yeah? In this, in the 5th step, for example, we will do data modeling, involves applying various computational algorithms to build models that can help and solve the defined problem. Then we will also evaluate the model to see if it's good enough. These models are used to predict, because we want to predict if in this case we want to see how our customers are going to be in the future, how many sales are we going to do in the future. Then we need to move from step 1, 2, 3, 4, and then apply 5, 6, 7, 8 to be able to predict what the future would look like. In the step 7, then that's where we get the extraction of the insights, and that's where you could communicate the results and interpret the results to the stakeholders, whether it be your boss, whether it be the board meetings or management, etc. And normally, when you do that, you deploy a solution, right? And then you monitor it. So for example, let's say we own a pizza place and we've analyzed our data, we look at the sales, and then we realize on Tuesdays, our sales are down. For whatever reason, on Tuesdays, nobody orders pizza. Okay, so you present all of this to your management, you know, and then they'll be, okay, so this is an insight. We now know our sales are down always on Tuesday. And then you need to start kind of understanding why. And then you will look at all this data. Is it because it's just a trend that people on Tuesdays don't have pizza? Or is it because on Tuesday we don't have a person, we have less people in kitchen, so they're less capable? Are they slower in the orders? So people know that they don't call on Tuesday. Could be anything, right? So by analyzing the data and getting these insights, then your management can make a decision and say, okay, let's make an offer, promotion, Tuesdays half price. As you see in many pizza places, Monday and Tuesdays. Here in Spain, Tuesday is the pizza day. So you get it half price. And that's how they kind of make the Tuesday not to be a loss for the week. Then you'll deploy this solution, and then you're monitoring, kind of creating a feedback loop, because then you will redo the whole steps back down the line, let's say a year, because then the problem will be another. Maybe Tuesdays now is fine, but then maybe there's another issue. So you keep doing these steps, and then you get this feedback loop going on where you get the data again, and now it's a different problem, there's a different solution, then you deploy the solution, or management does, and then again, back in 6 months, you do it again. So that's how a whole project will look. This can take as quick as a week or as long as months. It all depends on how many data you need and what is the problem, and obviously how easy or it's the solution to implement. Yeah. Okay. So now let's back into the Slido so we can interact a little bit more. Join the quiz on the Slido page. Yeah. And then what you could do is answer the question. So the first question I'm asking you guys is, what step do you think takes more time and effort from the data scientist from all those 7 steps that I explained to you? What do you think? And let's see what you guys think. I'll wait for a few more people to put in their answers. As you see on the top right, we see the people that are putting the answers. So let's see. Okay. All right. And we're going to see the results in a second. So far, we've got that 50, okay, 50% of you thinks is cleaning, getting the data, formulating, all right. Okay, let's see if that moves a bit. Okay, nobody seems to think that the last steps take time, all right, it's possible. Okay, let's see the correct answer. Ta-da, absolutely right. Cleaning and preparing the data takes forever. Imagine gathering all those amounts of data from all those sources that comes in different formats, different. In here, it's year, month, date, but in there, it's date, month, year, and over there, the client's name, it's the surname, but over here, the client's is put in by name, and over there, the no word, and over there, and over there. And it's very overwhelming at first, and you can drown in a sea of data sometimes, but once that's done, everything else is pretty fast. I agree. Let's go for the next question. What terms, if you were listening, I hope so, what terms refers to the process of extracting insights from data through analysis, visualization, and pattern recognition? What is the term? All these big buzzwords that we have. What term you think refers to the process of extracting insights from data through doing all those things? And I hope you get it right. So let's see what you guys are putting so far. Okay, getting there, all right. Most of you got it right. Okay. So ta-da-da-da-dum. What is the right answer? It's data science. I can see why you would be confused about the big data. But imagine, big data just exists. It's nothing else. It's just is. It doesn't do anything. Big data is there, but it doesn't, it's not a process, it's not a method, it's not nothing, it just exists. It's just all the data that we have around, yeah? So the actual term that refers to the process of getting an insight from it is data science. Okay. And let's see, what steps comes first when doing a data science project? What's the first one? What is the first thing before you do anything? What do you need to do? What do you think you need to do? Let's see, okay, 12 people getting there, getting them. I won't reveal what you guys are saying because then people tend to jump on the highest percentage answer. So let's see. Okay, we got now. Yes, I think we can. Okay. Again, most of you got it right. Well done. It's problem formulating. Yes, collecting data. It's the second step because if you don't know what you're looking for, you don't know which data you need to collect. So remember that. How am I gonna, if I'm talking about issues on feelings or that, then I need social media. If I want sales issues related, I need the sales data. If I need weather, I look at the weather. You know, it depends of what the problem is, what you're looking at. Yeah. Okie dokie. Good. So Chris, you got a lot of, right. Congratulations. Actually, all of you, the five of you got the same ones right, but Chris got it the fastest. Well done. Excellent. All right, so let's talk about the market, the job market for data scientists. As you see in the map, what I have is the salaries by location. Keep in mind that these from maybe a year ago, yeah, that's where I got it from, but it still kind of relates to what is happening mostly nowadays. So I don't know, whatever country you are, you can check and have a look at more or less what is the income that you will get. Yeah, so in Spain is about 64,000. And then you might think, oh, not fair. I'm in India, right? And my salary is going to be just 21 grand, and it's very low. If you, of course, you also need to look at countries' purchasing power, right? So it'll be different, and 21 grand in India will be obviously not equivalent, but more than what it is in another country. But the good news is you can always work online for a country elsewhere. So you might live in India, you might live in Australia, you might live in Spain, like I live in Spain, but I work for, as I said, for the FAO/UN. Their head office is in Rome. So it doesn't really matter where I live because I have my computer. I could go tomorrow to Bali and sit there and work there, and I will still get the same money. Yeah. So that really doesn't really matter. Now, the average salary around the world, I think it's quite good compared to normal jobs that you can do on a 9 to 5 sort of jobs anyway. And depending on where you look, or mostly around the world, the demand for data scientists has increased by 28% over the past years, making it one of the fastest growing job titles in the industry. It is true. I'm sure you've seen on the news that there were recent layoffs in big companies. Yeah, I'm sure you all seen. But you gotta think that those tech related roles that were laid off, they were more on the developer, DevOps side or backend side, full stack development, and not so much on the data science world, even though as well it was hit. And also those people who were laid off are profiles that are very senior, because you might think, oh my God, but now, there's all these people back in the job market that they were just laid off, and how would I be able to get a job? Well, you're in a different level because you'll be a junior. So the junior sort of space for jobs is almost the same. And I'm not gonna lie, it's very difficult to get the first job in tech, but with perseverance and making sure you follow the steps that CodeUp gives you at the career week, really help you to get that job. Yeah. So there are a lot of boot camps, and they can teach you a lot of programming. You can even learn programming at home with free resources. There's a lot of free resources. The issue is when you need to make the jump and get into a tech company. You need your CV to look in a certain way. You need your LinkedIn to look a certain way as well, and you need to prepare for the interviews. So this is why if you choose whatever bootcamp you choose, make sure that they have a career week orientation and someone who can help you to get that. Yeah. Let's talk about a bit of the gender disparity. And actually this is something that works in our favor because the percentage of females in the workforce is much lower. Here is just imagine this is from 2021, hasn't changed much. I just checked. It's changed a tiny bit, but not much. So if you look at the blue, the bar chart that has blue, it's the total workforce, non-tech. This is workforce, yeah? And then the yellow is the leadership's job. And then the green is the tech jobs. So in Facebook, only 24% of the tech jobs are female. And only 34% are leadership roles. And even at normal work, they're just 37. So there is a less females overall either way. So is in Apple, so is in Google, so is in Microsoft. And in Amazon, even though the workforce is higher, we have a lot of almost 50%, leadership is a little bit low, but they actually don't have non-females on the tech. I'm sure it has changed since then. I took this from some of from webs like Statista, where you can get all these things. But it looks in your favor because recently there is a trend to adjust that, right? So companies that have teams that are male dominated are looking to diversify their teams and have females in the team. Therefore, that plays good for us in a sense that it helps you a tiny bit to get into it, yeah? Okay, so now I talked a lot and we've looked at a lot of buzzwords and a lot of concepts, but let me show you how this looks. So what I'm going to show you, it's a web called Kaggle. And this web, what it does, it's a place for data scientists to put their projects there. You are able to see projects, download data, and put your projects up, etc. Yeah, so I'm gonna start, for example, with this gender gap. Could you put in the chat if you see now my second page? Because as much as I'm good at programming, I am terrible at Zoom webinars and sharing screens. So put on the chat if you can see now the gender gap Kaggle page, please. Let me see if I see the chat. Oh, thank you guys, awesome. So this is a gender gap in tech. So this particular person, right, that put in 4 years ago, and it had already like 1,193 views, has put this project that is done. So she's a woman, so as a woman in tech, she's been aware of the gender gap and she wanted it to analyze it. So she gathered some data that explains here. And if I do that, I see the code here. Yep. So this is how code looks. It's still wording. Yes, there is a lot of extra like brackets, commas, equals, and so forth. But that's how code looks. And this is particularly Python code. So she's looking at gender distribution in STEM. STEM is all these ICT jobs that we were talking about, right? And she's analyzed as gathering data from different places, what is the ratio? And so she made a graph. Now, again, if I put here, I see the code, yeah? I can hide it. So this is the result of the code. But how do I create that graph? Is by putting all this code. So I'm saying genders, it's equal to all these responses from this survey, which is question 2. And then all I'm doing is making sure that I'm grouping by, so male and female, so they're grouped. So aggregates, IGGs means aggregate. So the computer now is counting all the surveys that she uploaded, how many are male, how many are female, or how many they are saying they work, et cetera, et cetera. And then all of this is to create the actual bar charts. So I'm saying that this is going to be a figure called AX, and it's plots, PLT, it's a package of Python to make plots. And I'm making a subplot. And in here, I will put a title. So I want to set the title to be gender distribution. And in here, I want to make the labels gender and respondents. So you see, the title is here, gender is here, respondents is here. Okay. And then I want to set the white grid. So the white grid will be how you want it, the style of it. You want it to be a box with a white inside and how big it is. And then in here, I just say, okay, give me a bar plot with the female and the male. And from that question that we talked about. And then Python gives back to you this bar chart, which tells you that obviously male is so much bigger than a female, right? And then she was, okay, I want to know by country. So, okay, how would she do that? Then she uses all this code to gather the information from these surveys and compare the genders and the countries. And then at the end, she will do again the same sort of style to do the bars, but this time she's put them in the different, instead of perpendicular, in the other direction, yeah? And then we see that India has the highest amount of females that work in STEM, which it's possible, it feels truth. The second place will be the United States, other, which means people answered other. They didn't want to say what country they're from. And then so forth you go. Brrr. And Spain, oh my God, I'm very down here. But there are places where there's even less. So I'm not that down, okay? In Denmark and Norway, okay. That is surprising. So this is the insights that she's getting from gathering all this data. Yeah. Okay, so in here, by location, the percentage. And in here, she's looking at the age distribution. So it's kind of mostly known that people who work in STEM are between 25 and 29, even though now we do have more and more people that are older, particularly in our female world, because people, you know, females that we get older, we already have our child, and maybe we're trying to do something that we can do from home to be able to take care for the kids at the same time as be able to have a career. More and more we are choosing to move to tech, because I'm not in this bar anymore, but not even in this one. So it's, as you see, obviously it has a sort of a low, go high, and then low again. Okay. And then she's put some explanations that you can read. Anytime you can go to Kaggle, you can see anything you're interested in. You can just put search and see any project about anything that you might be interested. So she looks at careers, some are students, some are data scientists. So as you see, data scientist is the biggest one, because in STEM there's a lot, like there's software engineer, there's research scientist, there's business analyst, product manager, data engineer, statistician, database engineer. So there's a lot of different tech roles. You might, after this webinar, be like, oh, actually, I don't, you know, all this data having to, it doesn't feel like it's for me. Well, don't think that's it. There's a lot of things you can do in tech. If you're creative and you like creating things, then maybe a full stack development or like a software engineer type of role would be maybe for you. Okay, so she looked at what else? Education. So mostly had master's degrees. I would say this is before. Now I don't feel it's needed as much, because it's such a new thing that even if you go to university and do a 3-year ICT kind of like computer science, you will touch on these things, but you know, the speed of how things are moving is so fast that I would say most of the older and longer courses are a bit obsolete already. Like AI, ChatGPT, all this is just moving to the speed of light. So I feel that most up-to-date courses, even though they're short, are better, and then that you keep learning. This is the type of job that you will be always learning, no matter what, constantly learning. And please do raise your hand if you want to ask. This is the time, yeah? No, don't be shy, just or on the chat if you don't want to talk, that's fine. So as you see, this is the project. And as I explained before, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is just 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not predicting anything, yeah? Now, in here, this is what, for example, in here, she's looking at machine learning, programming, and what programming languages. So let's see. So women, they use it, yes, they use machine learning, okay. And what other, I wanna see this one. Okay, as I said, you see Python is the first, SQL is the second, you need it, and then R is the third. And these are mostly for data science, but for other things, whereas Java and C++, C, JavaScript, Bash, and all these others are used for developing software engineering, apps development, etc. Yeah, okay, let's look at, well, in this one, I don't need to go all the way down, and in each one you can see the code, yeah? In this one, she's not gone to predict. You could have done step 5, 6, 7, continue, and maybe with the data that I have, let's predict. If I had historical data, important, otherwise I cannot predict. How can I predict the future if I only have a data for last year, for example? That would not really work. But if I had how many females were in every year, and let's see that there is an increase in each year, then I could use a model, like a time series model, for example, to check the trend on how are we rising, and then predict for the next 10 years and say, in 10 years, instead of being bad, we're going to be here, or we're going to be here. I don't know. This is something to think about, right? Another type of project that we have here is a sentiment analysis. This is what I was talking about when you want to know about the sentiment, the feeling that people have, and how you would kind of look at text in a way that computer reads the text and can assign a positive or a negative. And so here is importing the libraries that it needs to do this. In here, it's importing or reading this CSV file, which has this data. And what it is ratings for this Oppenheimer movie that was, I think it was last year. If I don't, yeah, I think it was last year. He looks at the shape, and now it's cleaning the text. We were saying you got to clean a lot of the data, because imagine you have these as data. Imagine a challenging word solution. So like huge comments, right? How are you gonna analyze this? If I'm a human, I'm gonna have to read each comment. There could be like millions of them, and then assign them to positive and negative. That's gonna take me like forever, but the computer can do it so much faster. Now it's removing duplicates, as I said, is important. And then it's using packages to kind of read if, so this is if X is that, I'm going to say it's positive. If X it's below that, I'm going to say it's negative. But if it's in the middle, I'm going to say it's a neutral review. So then the computer will be able to assign to each comment either positive, negative, or neutral. And so because of the score that it's given, or the rating, it's giving you what it's the analysis. So this is a neutral review, for example, and so forth. And it goes on. And again, as always, we're visualizing just to see. So we see that actually it had more of a neutral or negative, and the positive, it's a little bit lower on the analysis. Yeah. And looking at these projects, then you can really see if it's something that will interest you. Because if you're looking at this and you feel, oh, I'm bored, then I would say then don't go for this type of job, because then this is what you will be doing like day-to-day basis. For me, it's super interesting to be able to gather some comments and just like that know if this movie was being said to be either neutral or positive, and so forth. Another third type of, and this is the one that will use steps 5, 6, 7 that I was saying, we're going into predicting, yeah? This is a very interesting one, because it's looking at using images. Data, as we said at the beginning, is not just numbers or words. There are video, there is pictures, there is a lot of other data, right? So this person wanted to see if you could make a model that will tell you if a picture is a bird. Is this a bird or not? So it's importing the packages that it needs. We can expand the code if you need. Okay, he got an error, but doesn't matter. And then is to be able to predict if it's a bird, I have to teach this model what is a bird, right? So I will have to give him a bunch of pictures of birds. So then the model will understand the features of a bird, right? But then I have to actually give them things that are not birds. For example, the forest. So I'm telling the model, hey, if something has a beak and has this sort of a body and this sort of curve, it's a bird. But if it doesn't, if it looks like this, it's not a bird, right? So that's why it will be false. It's not a bird. And so he trains the model, gives them a lot of, that's the step of training the model, give him a lot of different pictures. There's a bird, there's a forest, there's a bird, there's a forest, there's a bird, there's a forest. So the computer starts learning, and then he will be able to eventually just do it by himself. And then all you do is to use the model. So to use the model, you give him a picture, and then the model will answer to you as a bird or it's not a bird. I know it's obviously a very simplified way of looking at it, but this is what Tesla uses for a green light or a red light. So I need to give him a bunch of pictures, not just the color green or red. I have to give him a lot of different traffic lights. A traffic light in Spain looks different than a traffic light in America, that it looks different in I don't know where, and I don't know where. So how do they look? And then the model needs to learn that this is green, this is red, this I go, this I stop. And those are how they're used. Yeah. Okay. So now I would, how much data in general do you need to teach the model? A lot, Christina, a lot. Because, well, it depends. you could give him a little amount of data and then your results are going to be okay. You can give him huge amount of data and your result will be robust. How would you know that? Because when we validate the model to say if it's good or not, you're going to see the error that it has. How would you know that? You give him real data, right? And you say, okay, take this only half and now predict this other. And then you're going to compare his prediction with the real data. And then you'll be like, okay, this is how good you did, this is how good or how bad you did in this model. Then you will know if you need more data or fine tune the model so it adapts, because maybe there's some data that's kind of a bit quirky, bit outside of the norm, and that's why the model didn't perform well. So there are a lot of different models. There are a lot of different things you can do to improve it. And no, it's not just about giving him data. So data is very important, but there's also other things, maybe including more variables, like we were saying with price. Is just interest rates going to give me the right price? I think not. I think you need to kind of give him what city as well, if it's a touristic place or not. If how big is the house? It's not going to be the same price for a 1 bedroom than a 3 bedroom. How many toilets? Does it have a swimming pool? So maybe by adding variables, the model will be able to give you a better prediction of the price for a particular house. Yeah. Okay. I want you now. Okay, Paula, thank you. No problem. You can see the recording later. Yes, that's fine. So I would like you to all try this yourselves. So what you do, you go to this website called visualizefree.com. I'm going to give it to the chat to everyone. There you go. So go to the web, register. It's very easy. Just put your name, your email, and then you go to your email to kind of verify it. Yeah. Once you are registered, you get to this page, and I'm going to wait a few minutes for us to go through it together, and I'll wait for you for a few minutes. You can, I don't know if we have, you know, the thumbs up here, like emojis, no? Or you could just put it on the chat. You can say ready when you are registered. So we are all going to try to do a little bit of a visualization here. All right. Yeah, so it's visualizefree.com. This is a place where we're going to be able to do some charts and play with some data and get some insights, maybe. And once you are, just put on the chat, done, okay, got it, whatever you feel, whatever you can. I'll have some water in the meantime. If you have any issues, raise your hand. You can talk or put it on the chat, so I'll help you to go through it. So you put your email address, then you put your first name, last name. Organization, just put anything, yeah, like whatever, me, just me or whoever you want to put, then you submit, and then you go back to your email to confirm it. Great, Mariam, done, perfect. So after, what we're going to do now is try to do some analysis, but in terms of just visualizing straight away. And after that, then we're going to open for questions. You can ask anything you want, whatever you want. Great. So once you're registered and you're in this page, you must click I'm already registered here. Otherwise, you don't enter. I know it's a bit weird, but yeah. So you put your email address. You see the click. If I unclick it, it still thinks I'm registering. So I said, no, I am already registered. Then I can press submit. So I'm entering into the actual visualizefree.com. And I'm going to go to create because I want to create something. You could also go and see the examples if you wanted to later. Yeah, there's a lot of, you see, this amazing dashboards that people have created. But what I want you to do, we've seen enough. I feel we need to try. So we go up and press create. Yes, and then you could do, it says here, you could do with the data, so don't worry. Just move a little bit down of all these pink things and start to create your own, yeah? It's the gray button at the bottom of all this pinky, it says upload, visualize, it just tells you how to do it, but don't worry about that. Just start to create your own. And of course, it's going to ask for the password because I was not signed in properly, but anyway. Okay, so create your own. You could explore, but I want to create. So I'm going to use the first one and put create. And now that I'm in this creating, I hope you guys are following. Could you repeat the step once on the site? Yes, sure, Chelsea. So once you're in the site, you go to the login, yeah? Now I'm going to be logged in, so it's not probably going to show it. But in the login, you need to click the thing that says I'm already registered and then just submit. And then if you go down, you're going to see something that says create your own. Yeah, the create, not exploring. And then once you press create, you're going into this page here. Let me know, Chelsea, if you were able to get to here. Or I can show and then I can repeat the steps again, yeah? In here, we go to we don't want to upload anything unless you have data on Excel and you want to do, go ahead. If not, just use this one with sample data. And I'll just press create a dashboard with a sample data. And the data, it's already on the left-hand side. Yep, done, okay, thank you. Following so far, awesome. You guys are great, you guys are fast. You can be data scientists. Good. So here we don't see anything, right? Nothing. To be able to see things here, you gotta select the data from the left. So let's say I choose category. Oh, okay, it's giving me a word cloud. So this means it's category for what? Graphics, hardware, office, tools. Okay, all right. What about, so I remove category. Let me see city. What is city? Oh, these are the cities where these things are sold. I'm assuming, I'm not entirely sure. Okay, obviously, if I only choose one thing, in here it shows you what you can see. This is all you can see because you only have one variable, cities, and the amount of maybe sales you have in the city. Okay, but maybe I want to see, what else? The region. What happens if I press region and city? Ah, okay, then I get a table. So I have city, region. Okay, so maybe what I want to do first, oh, if I put a reseller, it tells me already what are the cities. It tells me that by region, so is America East, America. Okay, so these are sales for American companies that sell, I think, office supplies or something like that. Okay, if you want to change the visualization, you touch at the top. For example, if I do that, it's just a table so I can see first the data and understand it. Or maybe I want to do a normal Excel kind of looking table, or I want a graph, but I don't like this one. I wanted it this way. Okay, okay, got it. Perfect. Yeah, so this is how you, so use west is this, and user east is that. Okay, maybe I don't want to see the reseller. Maybe I want to see the total. What are their sales? Oh, okay, so I see New York obviously makes, is it 2,500K there? It's obviously bigger than the others. Maybe I don't want to see it as a bar chart. Maybe I want to see it as a pie. So I press the pie. Okay, it's hard to read because it's too much things. So the city, you see too many colors. I don't want the city. So I'm going to go and remove the city. And if I remove the city, what happens? Oh, okay, great. So now I know, this is so much easier to see, right? Now I know that, well, yes. So this USA East sells more than the other sites. The total is at the center. So there is 17.7 millions. And East is doing 10.3 million. When I hover, I see this label. And when I hover down, I see that West is 7.4. So I would like you to play with this, make your visualizations as you wish, try, press, you know, make pie chart. These are donuts. It's a donut chart. This is a pie chart. These are circles. But and see how what you feel about doing this. Yeah. And then at the left-hand side, just whatever you want. Maybe I don't want to see the region. Maybe I want to see per city. Let's see. I want to see per city, sales per city. I know New York's going to be obviously, but maybe I want to see it in a sort of tree. Okay, I think this is easier to read. I don't like the colors, but I could change the colors. That's not a problem. And then I can remove the legend or add the legend. So the legend tells you which color is which. So this light blue, it's there somewhere Los Angeles, even though it already says the name there. So probably you don't need the legend. Yeah. So please, I would like you to try, do a visualization for yourself. I'm going to stop sharing now. If anyone has a problem reaching here or whatever, let me know. Let me see, put it here. And I'm going to put on the chat a drive that you can drop your visualization. So I'm going to give you like 5-6 minutes to make a visualization of your own. See if you can understand what does it mean, what insights you get by looking at that data. Yeah. And I'm going to give you a link because unfortunately, Zoom webinars does not allow to paste images for whatever reason. So I'm going to give you a drive that you can upload your picture there if you want to share it with everyone else. Yes. Hi, there's a raised hand. I wish, let's see, attendees. Let me find who's the raised hand. Nice. And then, yeah, so upload, play with it. If you have questions, raise your hand so you can talk directly, yeah? I'll probably just unmute if I can, if I know how to do this. Okay. I'll try to unmute you all. The drive says we need to ask for access. Then, oh, why? I put this. Okay, let me try it again. All right, where's my... Such a pity that they don't let put pictures here, you know, makes it more difficult for everyone. So, okay, maybe it's because, is it my personal one? Yes, I put my personal one. Let me make share. I want to share with who? I want to share with everyone, restricted only people with access link, copy the link. Okay, let's see if now you can. Let's try it again. I would love to see your visualization some way, somehow. So let's try it. I think it's the same. Let's see. No, it's different link. Good. So that now you should be able to, on this sharing link one, you should be able to upload your pictures. And then let me see if I can unmute you all at once, or at least share your pictures. And Tess, you can speak now if you want. I managed to unmute you, I think. You can talk now, eh? Try, if it works. Okay, so I have the chat here. Let's see if now it works, the link. Oh, why? I put the sharing. Okay, let's try. Are people... Ah, okay, because it says that I have to let you. Share. Yes, I see why. I have to kind of let you share. Share. That's because I don't have your email. So now you should be able, I'm allowing all of you one by one. Carly, you should be able in a second to share your visualization. Share. And share. Say Caloso is coming for you too. And Christine Mary coming as well. I says Minzona. And Rana Adel also. Okay. Okay, so I should be able to see some visualization soon. And okay, let's see. You guys can talk as you wish now. There's no need to, I'm allowing all of you to talk. If you're muted, you can. Let's see what are the messages. It works now. Awesome. Great. So you guys are all allowed to talk at any time. I think I did it correctly. All right, so let's see if we have some visualizations that I can share now. Let's see what you guys have done. Oh, Christina, you got it there. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Let me share my screen. I think, I don't know if you've seen it. Christina, would you like to talk about it and say what you think it means?
Okay, so basically I chose the quantity purchased and the company to make some sort of a chart. So I wanted to point out who the biggest buyers are, if that makes sense to you.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
Hopefully I
who's the
did that right.
biggest? You did. Who's the biggest buyer then?
Okay, just by the looks of it, I'd say some of those in the middle, like Eastern Data and Ubermeier. But at the same time, I think that if I wanted to tell you who exactly the biggest one is, I would have to choose like a different type of chart that actually shows it differently. So I chose a different kind that's like next to the pie chart. I don't know its name, but it says that it puts Eastern Data. It's
Okay.
1.7K. Yeah, that seems to be the biggest one.
Yeah, so totally right on that. So this is called a bubble chart, and they just make bubbles. The bigger, the better, the bigger the, so you see it, immediately you see. So when you have data that it's so similar, then the bubble chart, it's hard to see what's the biggest, but it gives you a good sense of who's the smallest, at least, or that they're all kind of on the same level. So it is a good chart to see the players, no, and how are they selling or buying. So it's good. But yeah, if you wanted it to be specific, then maybe, for example, you could clean the data and just put the top 5. Then, if we removed the others, the bubble will be so much bigger and then you will be able to see. So if we only had specialty, retail, Northwest, outfit, software, Abermeyer, Eastern, and Big Mart, if we only had those, because all the others are not there, their differences would be bigger, right? In comparison. So the bubbles will be also much bigger or different. We will be able to see it with the naked eye. Okay, good.
Okay, that's good advice. I didn't expect data cleaning to mean this type of thing too, but thank you for the explanation.
No problem. Let's see now by Christy Marie. Let's open this one. Oh, great. Okay, so this is a bar chart that's stacked. It's stacked because it has different things inside. But let's see, Christy Marie, you there? And are you able to talk?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let me know what
So
you
I
feel.
guess, hi, I guess this is showing the companies, a list of all of the companies, and I think that it's representing total sales, although it doesn't really say exactly
It does.
on the website, but I think it's total sales. So you're looking at the company by total sales, and then what are they selling? So the different things that they're selling, I guess.
Okay, so what is the company that sells the most?
It would be, well, the Big Cat and Eastern Data look like they're like pretty much almost the same, but I can see
Yeah.
that the Big Cat is slightly more.
Yes, you're right. And the category on the right-hand side with the colors tells you what sort of category of items are the most sold. So what category of things you think are selling the most? Which color you see the most in all the bars?
I mean, I'm actually not sure whether it's business or hardware. Those both look like the two main
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, I
But
think, yeah, it depends on each company, but yeah, both
Yeah.
of them look quite big. So probably business items and hardware are the strongest. And what will be the weakest one? I would say the little
probably,
pale blue, maybe.
yeah, probably educational, I would say.
Did you have fun doing it? Or hard? Did you find it easy, hard, difficult?
No, it's well, I mean, it'd be good to have like a little bit more context on,
To
the
understand.
actual
Mhm.
data, like what we're doing. But yeah, no, it's interesting to kind of play with the different types of graphs because some of them are just not helpful at all. And yeah, it's really important to choose the right type of visualization.
Absolutely. To tell the right story, yes.
Mhm.
So this would be a bit busy, but it's good, but it's a bit busy. But it will, as you said, it depends what you want to see. So
Yeah.
so yeah, certainly. Okay, no other. Let's see what we have. We've already done that one. Okay. Carly Banzella, are you there? Are you able to talk?
Hi, hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Well, this is new for me. I had no idea I could do something like this with a visualization. And
Okay.
well, in my case, I just checked the company and the quantity they purchase. And I think that while you position the mouse on each of the squares, you get to know how much they have purchased. But it's
Yes.
kind of new. Everything is new for me.
No, that's great. This is why we did this exercise, because just so you can feel that, okay, it's not that scary, even though you might not ever done this, it's actually not that scary. Particularly visualized data. We have millions of programs like this. I just took this one because it's free, it's online, and you can just play with it. But there's Tableau, and there's a million other ones where you can just grab your data, plug it in there, clean data, yes, very important, and then just play with it and get a sense of how the data looks, what are the patterns, and the data that they have as a sample is not that interesting, but you could practice at home, upload any CSV file and try anything, and then that will help you to know and understand if it's something you wanna do. Do you know what I mean? And it's something that interests you. And Rana, anything? Are you there? And are you able to talk?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Rana. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So I don't know, I just was like checking if the payment of the companies depends on the region itself or on the companies. So
Mm.
might be affected by the cost of living for a specific region or something. But it doesn't seem like this because I don't see too much variety except the George services that has very the minimum of the paid. And on top of it, like the quick stop.
Yep.
However, the rest is like not depending critically on the region itself, but I guess it depends on the company's policy or
Yeah.
the economics of the company itself. But I don't see too much variety between the companies in the different regions.
True. I agree with you. What would be interesting in here is to add, so we put the paid, right, to add the sales, because then you will see if it would depend on the area, because then you will see, okay, maybe George Services is less because he also has less sales, maybe. But if
Could be.
if we stack the bars, then we will see actually which areas have more profit or so
Yes,
forth.
you're totally
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
that could be a way of looking at it. Okay, let me stop sharing and please, this is your time now. I mean, we have few minutes, but I'm not in a rush, but if you need to know anything about this, any itching question, anything you want to know, this is the time to shoot away. If you don't want to talk, no problem, you can put it in the chat. And oh, Sidon was unable to copy and paste to the Drive link. Oh, I'm sorry, you should have make a screenshot, Sidon, and then download it in your computer and then upload it as a picture. Yeah, try and see if you can. So please do ask away. Anything you want to know. How did you get your first job? So I was very lucky. As I said, in CODOP they have a career week, and you know, in Spain, if you go to June, July, summer, it's very hard to get a job that's office related. So I thought I want to start the process of the career week before. So I contact the lady that does the career week in CODOP, and I said to her, do you mind giving me the information that I need to know at the end of the webinar? But can you give it to me before, because I want to apply now, even though I'm not finished. I can't take it any longer in my work. I need to do, and if I wait, I'm afraid in Spain, then it's summer, and then it'll be September, and then I cannot take any longer. And so she gave me the tips. As explained, it was the CV. The CV needs to be kind of twisted in a way that looks tech. So for example, I was working at a bank, right? So instead of saying client relationships with businesses, which that's what I was doing more or less, I'll be like highlighting the part that was most likely to be data sciencey. Okay, so analyzing companies' data to ensure they were able to access the loans and the other services that we provided at the bank. That straight away sounds so more techie and more data science related, right? Oh, she was analyzing the data already. Okay, she might not be a data scientist at the bank, but she was analyzing data on a day-to-day basis at the bank. So that was the first thing. So I changed all my jobs, anything I was doing that I could change into a data perspective, then that's what I did first. Then I put the LinkedIn to match the CV as she requested it, get 500 plus connections as she requested it, and then start practicing on my interviews, and I start applying. I didn't even finish the bootcamp. And then the good thing about CODOP is you have an amazing community of females and non-binaries, whereby we are on Slack forever. Even though I did it 3 years ago, I'm still on that Slack. And you get all the time these, oh, they are hiring here, or these tips or these things. And even when I have an issue at work and I don't know how to do it, I can ask someone there that has more experience than me, maybe someone who did the cohort before me or whatever. And that's how I got the job. It was through CODOP. CODOP has a relationship with the UN, where every time they need a data scientist or a full stack developer, they contact them, and CODOP gives them few CVs to look at, and then they ask you to do an interview, and then if you pass, great. And what I did in my interview was, besides practicing, is something that she told me to do. She says, follow up after. Don't think you've been annoying, and don't think it's not your place to do that. 2 days after, 3 days after, follow up with something, with an insight about you, with something you can do. And that's exactly what I did. 3 days later, I emailed them and said, oh, guys, by the way, this is what I could do for you. Analyzed a bit of data, show them a bit of my projects, etc., etc. Another important thing is to have your place for repositories, like the Kaggle that I showed you. So there are different places where you can have your projects, because then you can showcase, okay, you can say, I haven't worked as a data scientist, but I've done 10 projects. Look at my projects. They're like high quality or whatever. You have these amazing reports. All of that helps. So that's how it happened. Okay. Yes, CODOP shares CVs to the UN. Yep. Before it was only for UFMD, which was a division, but now even they have a program in Iran, I think it is, or I can't remember the country, where they also share profiles for that. So, yep. Any more questions or any comments or anything you might want to know? Let's see if there's some more in the chat. Go on.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if one must be, like must have acquired knowledge in statistics or maybe so much into maths before you can do this data science course. I know I asked Ruth before and Joanna, but I'm still I mean, for you, you already have a background in finance and all this mathematics and figure things, but for somebody who has no knowledge at all like me, what would be your advice, please?
Sure, no problem. So in my cohort, there were a variety of females and non-binaries which had nothing to do with math or statistics at all. And I didn't see any difference between them and me because what I was learning was completely new to all of us, which is another language. So the same way I speak Spanish and I speak English, now I speak Python, just to say, right? So it's kind of, yes, you need to understand the basics of it, but those are part of the any bootcamp that you would do anywhere. And there's a material they'll give you to read before you join a bootcamp, but they're very a helicopter view sort of concepts. So you don't, as long as you know you understand what a mean and an average and the total, which are the most used ones, then you are totally fine. And some people really like the mathematical part of it and they really go deep into the models and the mathematical part behind it and they want to understand. And some people, they don't touch it at all because the machine does it for you some way, somehow. So as long as you understand how it relates and how it works, then it's fine. I've seen like a lot of household mothers that they actually never worked before, and they were able to do as well boot camps and get jobs, and they didn't have any mathematical or statistical background at all. So yeah, I don't think it's not necessary at all. As long as you're willing to learn and you have an open mind, then I think it's fine. Yeah. So how much coding you need to know, Christina? I'm going to be honest. Nowadays, how can I say that without sounding crazy? Okay, so code evolves all the time, right? You know, with nowadays these AI tools, you could say, give me the code for this, and it will give you like a whole code dump for you. And yes, great, but how are you going to use the code, right? So what you need to understand is how to connect the dots. Like I said, the most important thing in a data scientist job is to be able to understand what the problem is. Where are you going to get the data and clean the data? And then when you visualize it or when you do a model, understand how things work, how they relate to each other. The specific lines of code, nobody knows them all. Of course, if you use it every day, you end up knowing by memory some of the lines. But I don't know most of my code by memory. I have to look it online. We all do. We're constantly searching. But it's how to search to get what you need that's important. So yes, the general day-to-day, I maybe know it by memory, but the most complicated functions or models, I don't know by memory. I have my, I have something that my guides and I just follow and I'll just adjust my code. So the important thing is to understand how to use it and then adjust it to what you need to do. So you don't need to know that much coding at first. You will use coding on a day-to-day basis, but you learn as you go, so to speak, yeah? Can I get a job in freelance without having certificate? I am learning alone SQL and Python. I think you can, particularly in these places on webs like not Top Total, because that's hard to get in, but there are a lot of other ones that you just Google them, like freelance webs. And then, because actually there's a lot of people who are there, but they don't really post their certificates. So you could say self-taught and start slowly with smaller projects. And then as you go along, once you get reviews of your work, that's what's important. When someone goes to hire a freelance, they check in the comments on their ability and their work that they've done and their portfolio. So if your portfolio looks great and the comments on people who have hired you are great, no problem at all. What else we have? Thank you so much. Okay, it's encouraging. Yes. Okay. How did you choose Codop? Yes. Okay. How did I choose Codop? How did I choose it? I actually researched a lot of bootcamps since I put on Google, what can I do in pajamas at home? And they said, okay, programming and these things. I started looking for bootcamps and I started getting overwhelmed. There were so many. And then I thought, oh, shall I do a degree? I thought, oh, 3 years now. I don't think so. I'm already, 40 plus. I don't feel like going back to study. And again, as I was saying with the algorithms, Facebook ad came in, poop, Codop. And the thing that I saw was that there were female and non-binary plays to, to get that gender disparity a little bit more equal. And that really called to me, because I had this issue with working in a very male-dominated industry besides banking before I was into real estate in Africa. And even though I was able to get high up, I was always fighting my way up. So I felt that I would be in a safer space because I might ask questions that sound stupid or silly, and I don't want to, sometimes I feel females, we a bit more, in that sense, we are a bit more calm about these things. Like we don't judge as much if, okay, somebody's giving a stupid, or you should know that, or whatever, So I felt it would be a safer space for me, for my particular situation. Yeah. Okay, Rana, see you later. All right, any other questions, any other things you might want to ask away. You can have it on the chat, you can just talk. I think most of you are unmuted. Ada, can you talk, or let's see, maybe?
Hi, hello.
You can go for it.
Yeah. So for me, I am really confused because I want to really understand the exercise we made. So to say, it's like analyzing the data.
Yes.
So it's a little bit confusing because there are so many information. Should you go for data science? Should you go for data analytics? For me, I joined the webinar in the middle. I don't know if you talked about it already. I have a little bit of experience with epidemiology and analyzing these data. So I don't know if you can throw more light, because I'm really looking to transition into a career path. And how do I start up, things like this.
No problem. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So data analysis is part of the data science. So you could be a data analyst and not be a data scientist. And you cannot be a data scientist without being a data analyst, but you can do the other. So it's like a step further. So a data analyst, all it does is analyze data. So it will take the data and use statistical methods to see what's the mean, what's the total, what's, like what we did in the exercise. So what we did in the exercise is just visualize. We didn't really analyze. The data, it's already there. It's cleaned and it's up there, right? It's called sales, companies, places. So what we did is just visualize the data. Now the analysis comes with us looking at that data. That's where the analysis comes, or using code or programming language to further investigate the data. No, so that was just a very quick. What we did is data analysis, but more like visualizing that particular data. The analysis comes with us talking, like what we did. We look at the charts and we saw, okay, now I know that data was data about America. I know it was divided between East and West. I know there were a lot of companies. I know most of them have more or less themselves. There's 5, 6 of that at the top. I know, now I know that. I didn't know it before. So that was my analysis, and I didn't go deeper. I didn't go farther. I could have gone farther, but that's the data I have there. Rubbish in, rubbish out. You have rubbish data, you have rubbish out insights, right? Now, let's say I want to, or the manager, I work for one of these companies, let's say whatever, Walmart. And Walmart is my manager, my boss, and tells me, I want to know what are my sales going to be next year? Yeah. So that becomes now a predictive. That's now we're coming into using data science, because then I need to use models to be able to predict that. So I'm going to take past data. I'm going to start collecting the data. I'll analyze it, and then I will train a model. And then I will be able to tell them more or less with a percentage of accuracy, I think next year you're going to do these sales or that or whatever. And then I'm going to maybe need more variables than what it's there, right? Over there was just sales, categories. Maybe I need to know more. Maybe I need to know weather conditions. I need to know shop cities. I need to know holiday trends. I need to know, I need to know. And you want to know in sales or do you want to know profit? What do you know what I'm saying? So that's where
Yeah.
formulating the problem, it's very important as a data science job. So if you already done epidemiology, you've already done probably R a little bit.
Yes.
Yes. So you've already done you're already kind of towards the end, right? Now you just need to apply what you know in the context of whatever job you're going to apply to. Since you are already in that epidemiology, animal health, I assume, or is it human or animal?
Human health.
Yeah.
more
So
like case-
then, if you're already there, I would just do a very short course or online free upskill sort of courses to get more R, maybe even R Shiny to be able to do dashboards. So
Yes.
you can create the dashboards with R Shiny, and then apply to data science jobs within hospitals, laboratories, or anything that has to do with what you've done. Because you already have all of that, it'll
Yeah.
be so easier for them to take you, even though you maybe haven't worked as a data scientist, but you've done already A, B, C, and D, right? So you could work
Okay.
at labs, you could work at hospitals, you could work at medical companies. For example, for me, it would have made sense to apply for banking data science positions because they
Yes.
might be, oh, she never done data science. Oh, well, but she has the banking background and now she's learned the data science. So this is not such a bad candidate because I don't need to explain to her what a mortgage is, what are this, what are that. She already knows all of that. So I always say, try to apply whatever it is you already have experience on. And
Okay.
yeah, last time a mother told me, and what do I apply if I've just been a mother and been home? I say, hey, you've got a lot of experience in managing budgets and even a CV of a mother.
Yes.
You can say, you can say, well, I am the budget holder of a household. I analyze the trends of supermarkets before I do my shopping.
Expenditure like this.
Yeah, and I make the purchases that are most cost efficient for my family. So you can turn anything into kind of data speaking buzzwords, let's call it. So a mom actually knows a lot and uses this process every day. If I give this food, this kid, it's too hyper. I need to change my food. If I put them to sleep too early, they wake up to, we do this every day. All of us do this daily without even noticing. We make decisions based on what we know. So it's kind of the same, but at a bigger scale. So you can always use that. So certainly you would have no problem having already that background, finding a job, but you would need at least Python and SQL. If you don't have SQL, then yes, because the data, all this big data we were talking about, it's in the clouds or in places, in apps, in webs, and you need to subtract this data. And not always there is a database manager or engineer in the team, and you have to do it. So you got to learn that part. So you have the other parts. Now you need to learn the other part, which are APIs, APIs, collecting data from the web, scraping data, and connecting data to Amazon Web Services, Azure, Cloud, all these places where we put data. Yes. So that's how I would do it for you. I would learn SQL and kind of database sort of management to add to what you already have. Yes.
Thank you very, very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other question out there? No more questions. Any other thing? Oh, let's see in the chat. I see. Okay, yes. Should we make the portfolio projects related to the companies we want to work at then? Yes, if the data is available, but I would say more the industry, just in case. You don't want to you know, like know too much about them. I could see an HR person being a bit nervous about you having a lot of insights about their particular company. But if you, the industry, yes, certainly. For example, if you want to work at Microsoft, then yes, sure, like, you know, all these companies that do the same, similar things, absolutely. And I would start with companies that are easier to get to at first. So not the bigger companies, but smaller companies around. And what I always say, if some people take longer, some people take shorter, you can always do an internship. You can always offer, can I come and work whatever 3 months just as an internship to learn about whatever in a place that you want to work. And normally and usually if you're good and you manage to make relationships within the company that you are doing the internship, it's most likely, and if they have a position, it's most likely that you can stay and work there. So apply to internships at first as well, not just jobs, and certainly have a well-varied portfolio. You must have not just the project you did at the bootcamp. That's not gonna really cut it. You gotta have your own, you know, you gotta show that you yourself are very interested to have a lot of different projects. And if they're in the industry that you have experience and that you wanna get to, then great, sure. Okay, any other questions? Let's see, anyone else? All right, so if there's no more questions, we're gonna stop it at here. I hope you enjoyed. You can find me on LinkedIn anytime. It's Pilar Rios. I'm gonna put it there so you can find me easy. You can always ask me questions there as well if you need to, no problem. Let's see. I'll give you the LinkedIn on the chat. And yeah, I hope that you all can eventually go to this career for you and that it can work out, because for me, it's been a life-changing, absolutely life-changing. All right, so it's Pilar Rios and the LinkedIn. I'm gonna put it in the chat to everyone. Thank you very much all for being here. And yeah, also, if you can in the chat and you want to add some comments before you go on how can we improve this webinar, I'm very always open for feedback. If I have data, then I can make an informed decision on how can I improve this webinar to give more insights, or maybe the order, or if the interaction was good, not, whatever you feel, just feel free to add it there. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a holiday time. And I hope to see you in the tech world very soon.